My mother has 300 plus cats in her house, and an entire bedroom full of birds. I am not the original poster. That is you, cat throw away 998 in our legal advice. Trigger warning. Mental illness. Animal abuse. Animal death. Less than. Original post March 1st, 2019. I moved to Europe for work a decade ago, and have not been back to the States for nearly 3 years. Since my dad died, I felt bad leaving my mother alone. However, money was tight and I was not able to afford to visit. She had numerous friends, so I assumed she'd be okay. I came to visit finally, yesterday, and my mother's health, unfortunately, seems to have declined more than she let on. The whole house is full of cats. Hundreds of cats. Some of them look to be pregnant, and some of them already have litters. 300 may be an understatement. I asked her where they came from and she didn't have an answer for me. I told her she needs to get rid of them, but she insisted they were better off with her. To make matters worse, the guest room has been filled entirely with various birds. Parakeets, finches, a swan. She says it's a swan, and various others I can't identify. I estimate there's 50 plus birds, and they too look as if they've been breeding. All the animals have food a fake, but the smell is unbearable and this cannot be sanitary. You can't move without stepping on a cat. Who do I call? The police? I'd prefer if there was a way to resolve this without her getting charged for animal cruelty. She's just a harmless old lady who is suffering from dementia. Next morning edit, please don't PM me with offers of help. I want to remain anonymous. I do not want the media to show up or anything. Thank you. Details in her comments. It is a downstate rural county. If I call animal control, or the cops, will they take the animals away? They'll take the cats, right? I feel as though I am being redundant here, but I cannot stress enough that I am literally swimming in cats. What is the penalty for such a charge likely to be? They wouldn't put her in jail, would they? If they're just going to fine her, or something along those lines, it's fine. After seeing the state of the house, I'm going to either get her some kind of care or attempt to bring her to me. She's clearly not capable of living on her own anymore. I will take her to be evaluated ASAP. She fails to understand my problem with the situation, and I am more than a little frustrated by the fact that after over 24 hours I am still seeing new cats that I have not previously noticed. I have no idea where it came from. It doesn't look at all like a swan to me. It looks like a dove, but I don't know birds well enough to know for sure. The most frustrating thing is that she doesn't seem to know where the animals came from. Then it is not a swan, unless it is not fully grown. I asked my mom again to clarify, and she insists it's a swan. To be honest, I don't care if it's a dove, swan, or magical flying snake. I just want it gone. The exact species is not my concern. The damage is ridiculous. The banister is about to collapse from being clawed, chewed. The living room carpet smells as though it has been drenched in cat pee. It seems as though the basement has been used as a giant litter box for a long time. The bird bedroom is covered in droppings, feathers, and some kind of wood chips that seem to have been thrown in as an afterthought. There's one wall that looks as though a human took an axe to it. I can't imagine cats doing that level of damage. Update post March 4th, 2019. Animal control and the police were called, and it took them until today to get here. Over the weekend I took my mother to a hotel, and she said she was happy that I cleaned up for some mother-daughter time. She also thanked me for getting her a new bed. She couldn't comprehend that we weren't in her house. Animal control, with a lot of help, confiscated all the cats except 2, and all of the birds. For those debating it, no, it was not a swan, but a young duck. I should probably have known, but I wasn't going to take a second peek into that room. The total cat count was 213. And the total bird count was 87. There were a significant amount more that were, unfortunately, dead. Many of the cats were sick, and may have to be euthanized. My mother is extremely upset. She has been admitted to the hospital for reasons I would rather not get into. I don't know if the house is savable. The situation is still being assessed. I'm sorry it's not a happy update, but at least I'm no longer drowning in cats. Details in her comments. They took 213 live cats and 87 live birds. They left 2 with my us in. There's a lot more dead animals. They let us keep 2 cats. She's not going to be left unsupervised, so they'll be taken care of. These 2 were the ones she had last time I was here, and they're fixed. These were cats I lived with, whose pictures are on my desk at home. They've both got distinctive marks too. They're not like all black cats. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't particularly difficult to identify them. I requested them, since I knew them before I moved. I'm shocked they're still alive even though they were less than a year old when I left. They're like 10-ish now. So kinda old for cats. I didn't expect them to still be alive. Gotta be a miracle tbh. I am not the original poster. Animal hoarding is a real issue. It's worse than regular hoarding. Emo. Because the animals that the hoarder thinks they are rescuing or saving usually need to be euthanized because the animal hoarder was unable to care for them properly. What a sad story. Over the weekend I took my mother to a hotel, and she said she was happy that I cleaned up for some mother-daughter time. She also thanked me for getting her a new bed. She couldn't comprehend that we weren't in her house. That's so sad. For those debating it, no, it was not a swan, but a young duck. You know, I think a story about the opposite, a swan mistaken for a duck, might be kinda interesting. So very sad. And an excellent example of why spaying, neutering is important. I'm sure most of the 300 cats came from 12 sets of parents. A kitten can get pregnant by 46 months old. They can birth every 4 months. Gestation is 2 months. Then weaning and back into heat is 2 months later. So year 1, mom has 12 kittens. 3 litters. Even if we assume only 6 girls. By year 2, we have the original 12 babies. Plus 72 that they birthed. 84. Those 42 moms each birth another 12. You can have 500 plus within 3 years. Never mind that my math is based on 4 kittens. 2 moms per batch. And not that I saw a mom have 9 last year. I thought it was bad when the rescue I volunteer for goes to places with 20-30 cats. I can't even comprehend how you can fit over 200 in one place. This season on hoarders. I do like the fact that Reddit is a place to get first-pass advice before a person attempts to solve the problem with their local authorities. I, too, wouldn't know who to call if I found 200 surprise cats in my parents' house. Or how to manage the situation in a way that wouldn't get my loved ones arrested. It's nice that people try to help each other. And it's nice this is a place to get some low-stress, imperfect guidance on absolutely any topic. It's like hitting up Wikipedia when you're researching a paper. It's not an authoritative source, but it's a good place to get a general idea of how to begin. We had a neighbor who hoarded cats. Their next-door neighbors realized what was going on and called animal control. They took 135 live cats. They found more dead ones. Of the 135 cats, only 9 were not euthanized. All had severe cases of diseases and could not be treated. The lady hoarding them ended up in the hospital because she had respiratory issues. From there she was sent to a nursing home. Nobody in the neighborhood was sure if she had family or not, and of course the hospital wasn't saying anything. The house was condemned. It was a sad case all the way around. The fact the mom has no idea where she is and is thanking op for the new bed in the hotel room suggests there's something medical going on with her. Horrible for the animals. And even worse that you have to assume some of the dead animals had to have been there for a while. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of animals. How big was this house? It doesn't look like a swan to me. It looks like a dove. But I don't know birds well enough to know for sure. Well, I'll say, ETA. I just finished reading it and OMG, it was a young duck. Has Oop ever seen a bird? Or has she only ever read about them? Jokes aside, that's such a sad thing she and her mom had to go through. Dementia isn't just horrible for the person diagnosed. It's awful for all of their loved ones. I'm glad they got to keep the 2 original family cats. Those poor animals crying. I hope the mom got the help she needed and nothing even close began to repeat. Not to sound good, but it did make me laugh that in the state of all that panic. One of the things the poster fixated on was the identity of a single aquatic bird. Like, I also struggle in moments of panic to not just fixate on one thing that is weird about the situation. So reading someone else doing it is nice. I can only imagine the odor emitting from that house. Glad the mom is getting the help she clearly needs. 10 ain't old for cats though? Someone would buy that house in this market. Probably pay over asking too. This makes me so sad. I have friends who run rescues. There's a difference between hoarders and puppy mill assholes are viewed among the community and wouldn't have treated her badly. Remember when you see comments like, spay and neuter your pet on social media? It's because this situation can happen quickly. This is sad for every person and creature involved. I am genuinely curious if the mother was moved to a facility and whether there were animal cruelty charges in the case, or if they could, given her apparent mental state. Over the weekend I took my mother to a hotel, and she said she was happy that I cleaned up for some mother-daughter time. She also thanked me for getting her a new bed. She couldn't comprehend that we weren't in her house. Oof. Poor Oop. Clearly their mother is now dealing with dementia. The hoarding can be a side effect. Someone who is confused can't keep on top of animals breeding and doing damage to the home. And then most of the animals will end up being euthanized. Because nobody has placements for 213 cats or 87 birds. Sad all around. I used to work on a duck farm. The smell must have been horrific if they are all in one room like that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.